Happy Monday, ladies. I'm just now realizing how crazy I look. I like literally just walked in the door from class, so I'm a little red. Wanted to come on tonight and talk a little bit about my top gut healing foods. So, just to see, I'm curious if anyone can get on. It's just after 7 on Monday evening. Just to do, sorry about that. I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb because I never normally get calls this late. But just to go back a little bit and just to talk about, I keep touching my counter and everything shakes. So just to go back to the foods to really avoid. Of course, we're going to be avoiding when we're trying to really heal the gut, even though it's for a short term. Like, I wanted to put this out a few days ago because I could tell the group is kind of quiet. I think it sort of does scare a little people off when I start talking about, stuff that we can't have. But I want to remind everybody that this is a short-term thing, that once you kind of heal the gut and start to heal, really refire up the metabolism, that you start to be able to have a much more flexible diet. And you're able to have that flexible diet while still getting results. So it's sort of a win-win. But of course, in the short term, like for a month or two, you really do have to somehow heal yourself by cleansing in some way. And one of those ways is just to avoid certain things that are damaging to the gut, damaging to your metabolism, damaging to your thyroid. The list can go on. Because like we talked about last week, it's like this domino effect that one will cause an issue with the other. So the foods to avoid, of course, we know this already, processed foods, processed sugars, other types of, bread products, things like that, gluten, GMOs, dairy, most soy. I'm going to say most soy because there's some types of fermented organic soy that you can have. Farm-raised fishes and fishes that are high in mercury content. MSG is something else to kind of stay away from. Artificial flavorings and sweeteners. Fried foods, especially when they're fried in vegetable and canola oil. Pretty much corn of really any kind when you're really trying to cleanse your gut. And also mushrooms. A lot of people add mushrooms to their salads. They are in a normal tendency a vegetable, something healthy, but because if in case you do have like an overgrowth of fungus in your gut, you don't want to keep giving your gut more fungus, if that makes sense. So just want to go over that as a reminder before I really get down to it and talk about the top 10 gut healing foods, specifically that I love. First of which is bone broth. I don't have my big bag of it. I normally buy like this, it's like a full, I think it's a 16-ounce bag that I normally get. No, actually it's bigger than that. It must be like 24 or 34 ounces. It's a huge one. I buy it frozen, but this is another one. It's called Epic Artisanal Bone Broth. So bone broth, really, it provides important amino acids and minerals that can actually help heal leaky gut and also improve certain mineral deficiencies at the same time. So a lot of times we don't realize that we might have deficiencies. Hey, Tamika. So that's bone broth. Important for gut healing. Another thing is raw cultured dairy. Now, things that have probiotics in them, you can't go far these days without seeing probiotic rich foods. But one that I'm going to mention is kefir, different types of yogurts, specifically just plain 100, like full fat, plain, you know, yogurt. Not those ones that already add stuff to it, like different flavors and things. They're not the healthy ones. You want to stay away from those. But anyway, the probiotics can actually help heal the gut, specifically the bad bacteria, like, you know, candida and different bacteria that might be overgrowing in the gut. So it'll also bring up some of the good bacteria that you might not have enough of due to that same reason, in both the stomach and the intestine. So this is a kefir. This is a if you're trying to also be dairy free. Can you guys see this? I hate that sometimes. So here's a cashew milk. So it's a dairy free kefir. But you can find many dairy ones nowadays. Fermented vegetables. So we have bone broth, we have raw cultured dairy or non-dairy versions, like a sauerkraut. This is, you know, anything that's really fermented, like sauerkraut, kimchi, like I said, the cashew kefir. Because anything that's fermented typically will, like I said, contain probiotics that will help repair and balance the pH in your gut. What's next on my list? Oh, steamed vegetables. So just steaming your vegetables will help your body be able to digest them in a much easier way. So rather than eating them raw, it's why you notice a lot of people have issues just digesting raw vegetables, or sometimes people will have allergies to just raw vegetables, but they can eat cooked. So that tells you something. So anything that's like easier to digest will also help. You don't want things that are obviously hard to digest. That's one of the reasons why we say while you're healing your gut is to stay away from beans during that time. Although typically healthy, heart healthy, beans are something that can cause some digestive issues. So that's why the easier something is to digest, the better off it is. So steamed vegetables, I don't have any like vegetables, like raw vegetables on hand because I did my cooking last night. I normally roast a lot of my vegetables. But again, you want to kind of like lightly roast. Healthy fats, of course. We'll be talking about avocados, coconut oil, ghee. And I'll go over these because I'm going to actually give you guys a little bonus, which is my the top items that I get from Trader Joe's, like my gut healthy faves. Let's see what else. The ghee, coconut oil, avocados, things like salmon. So again, your healthier fats. Fats are really healthy for you. I also use brain octane from Bulletproof. This is like a higher, a very specific refined version of coconut oil. So just rather than buying like regular MCT oil, this is they somehow process it in a different way to release the type of the caprylic acid, which is separate from sometimes other MCT oils can contain the other types of MCTs, medium chain triglycerides, but this one specifically is really good for the gut and really good for the brain. Let's get to the next one. Of course, fruit, 1 to 2 servings of fruit per day is really good when you're trying to repair a leaky gut. I tend to stick to berries if I'm really going to be strict about my a cleansing time, just because they're the looking on the spectrum of the lowest glycemic fruits. You want to stick to ones that aren't going to convert to sugar as easily and feed on whatever else might be in the gut that's going to feed on sugar. So I typically will do 1 to 2 really small portions of blueberries or other types of berries when they're in season, when I'm trying to be really good. And again, fruit can be best used in the morning. That's the other thing, and not later on the day. Also papaya. Papaya is really good. When I see that and I can get that, I normally do and cut it up myself because it saves a lot of money. I was doing that for a while. Another thing is coconut products. As long as they're unsweetened, you really want to stick to as many, coconut products, because we just talked about, it contains caprylic acid, the MCT, the medium chain triglyceride. That's an antifungal. So it actually helps kill certain funguses in the gut and the intestine. And then herbs. So I typically buy a lot of fresh herbs. And sometimes if I don't even have something to put them into, I will just grab a mouthful and eat a mouthful of herbs. But I like herbs. I buy a lot of herbs and put them in my food. I think they're delicious anyway. And of course, apple cider vinegar, I can grab you. I'm sure everybody already uses that. Again, in some cases, you do have to be careful for cleansing purposes. Like if you're doing a much more stricter cleanse, you want to stay away from all vinegars for a short period. While cleansing, like if you're doing a 3, 4, 5, 6 week cleanse type of thing, but then you can bring it back in because it is good for your gut. Helps again maintain a solid pH. So those are my top types of foods to help heal your gut. But what I wanted to do for a little bonus, if you guys have a few extra minutes, I wanted to share with you some of my top gut healthy favorites from Trader Joe's, because I tend to go there most often and get just a really good deal on a lot of stuff. So I wanted to share with you some of these because I find them to be, it's a huge savings from a lot of the other stores, or if you're ordering online even. Sometimes you can't even find these items on Amazon. So if or at your local supermarket, sometimes a lot of times at your local supermarket, they don't even have a lot of these items. So I like to get them from Trader Joe's when I can and stock up on some of these. All right, first thing, this is my favorite because I used to pay an arm and a leg for this at other health stores or anywhere you go. It's very, very, very pricey. And when I found it at Trader Joe's and I noticed the price, it was unbelievable to me. So I get a huge gallon jug of aloe vera juice. So again, aloe vera juice is probably going to fall into one of the herbs that are really healthy for your gut. So aloe vera juice, this I put into my shake every day so I don't taste it. If you ever had aloe vera juice, this is not the kind that's the drink that you get from some of the Asian stores that are sweetened already and they're really delicious. This is not delicious by itself. It's very sour. It doesn't taste well. It's not something you'd want to take by itself. You'd want to put it into something else that it will hide the taste. So I've been buying this. This is $7.99 for a whole gallon. And I think when I used to get that from Whole Foods, I want to say for $7.99, you might be lucky to get a 12-ounce bottle. You would get a bottle that was like this size, like under 16 ounces for $7.99. So can you imagine? Like it's a huge savings. The next thing, rice cauliflower. So they have a frozen rice cauliflower and a fresh, both organic. The frozen, I believe, is $1.99 and the fresh is $2.49. So that's one of the things. And sometimes when I see this at other supermarkets, because it's considered sometimes like the prepared area, like because they did it themselves for you, like they've riced it for you, they'll charge up to $5 for the same amount or just a tiny bit more. Maybe you get 16 ounces rather than 12, but this is $1.99. So, and it's good to have in the freezer for emergencies. They also have a mashed cauliflower if you are, it's frozen, it comes frozen. If you are, because it does include cream. So you have to, it has milk products. So if you're doing dairy, you can have this. But this is amazing as well, the mashed cauliflower. I forget how much this one was though. It might be in the same realm, like somewhere under, you know, $2-3. Next up, favorite things to buy from Trader Joe's, and you can see I go crazy when it comes to that, to Trader Joe's. They're nuts. They have the best pricing on nuts, and for good quality. So once in a while I'll see like good pricing on other nuts, but I've always come to find that whenever I see that elsewhere, like some of those nut stores or a regular supermarket, I'll buy it there and I always regret it because they never taste fresh, or oftentimes it's very difficult to find raw at like a typical supermarket. So I like that Trader Joe's has a really large selection of raw and great pricing, like sometimes about 50% off what the average would be. So, you know, I get a big variety from Brazil nuts to pecans to pistachio to cashew. So we typically keep a lot of different nuts in our house. And again, look up, you really want to figure out what nuts are best digested for you. It's going to be different for a lot of people. There's a lot of people with gut issues who have a hard time with almonds, and peanuts are something that when you are dealing with gut issues, because peanuts carry a lot of mold, that you do have to stay away from peanuts. So then you're left with maybe fewer types of nuts. And when I talked about that, so like I said, you can get sometimes like $6 to $9 per pound versus, like I said, up to like double that. But when I mentioned that, I wanted to show you one of my favorite nut butters. This is mixed nut butter from Trader Joe's, and this is really good because it's got a lot of the more gut healthy mixture of nuts, and then it's also really good for your brain. So it's a really good mixture and it's a good price. I think this is $5.99, and if you bought something like this from Whole Foods, it'd probably be double that, probably somewhere around like $10. Coconut oil, again, like I said, 16-ounce organic virgin coconut oil, meaning unrefined, is $5.99, and you can also get a refined version, like for if you're using it for your skin and your hair and other things that you don't want to have that like smell, like for non-eating purposes. Same price, so it's really good for 16 ounces. Again, sometimes I see this elsewhere, $8.99, $9.99 for the same amount. I've also seen it at, you can also find it if you do go to like BJ's. I don't really go to BJ's and Sam's and Costco and stores like that as often. Sometimes I go once a year. And the two things that I will pick up when I see the virgin organic olive oil, coconut oil, when I see that there, I'll get that there, and I'll get chia seed, organic chia seed there. And stock up on that because sometimes that can last me quite a few months. What else? Organic coconut flour. I didn't pull that down, but unfortunately I don't have it in the Trader Joe's. So what I normally do, I had this container for a long time, so I just kind of refill it. I'll buy a package of coconut flour from elsewhere, and I will put it back into here just because it's a nice container. I want to say it's $2.99 a pound. Elsewhere, you're going to find it for like $4.99. Almond flour is like $4.99 at Trader Joe's, and normally I think it's like up to like $9 a pound elsewhere. As for more coconut products, these are my favorite. Again, coconut products. Like I said, coconut's really healing for the gut. So, you know, as long as you're getting things that are unsweetened. They have organic unsweetened flake and organic unsweetened coconut chips. So I get both of these. I keep these at all times because this is how I make my sometimes morning parfaits when I do I make my own like kefir coconut yogurt with chia seed, and then I top it with my blueberries and some coconut flakes. And again, I think these are about $2 a piece, which is like, it's nothing, especially if you're baking. Some more things. Like I said, chia seed. I don't know the pricing there because like I said, I went recently and got the big bag from the 2-pound bag from BJ's a couple months ago, so I still have that. And then what else do I have? Oh, one of my other things that I love to buy there, they have grass-fed beef burgers. I think they're $6 and you get 4 burgers. That's a great price for, I think, and they're perfectly portioned to 4 ounces each. That's sort of a staple for our house most weeks. Also salad starters and different bagged greens and toppings for salads. So like beets I love, shredded carrots, the Persian cucumbers. They have great prices, like under $2 for a bag, for the bags of salads. Lots of fun different vegetables that you can experiment with. They normally have jicama most months of the year there, so I really like for that purpose. Also the bagged fruits, I love that. I'm going to show you, obviously I don't have any fruits on hand this week just because all my fruits are frozen right now, and I'll show you why. But for the bagged fruits, I'm going to show you an avocado as an example. Avocado, yes, is a fruit, but I buy other bagged fruits from there too, and the reason why I like them there is because I love the size. It's perfectly portioned. So if I even get like a bag of apples or a bag of oranges, whatever I'm getting, I like that they're smaller in size, so that truly is like, if you follow the portion containers, that it is like grabbing an apple, it's small enough that it's your one purple. So it just makes life a whole lot easier than to like cut an apple in half and have, you know, and then save the other half. Like, who does that? But frozen fruit, another way, like when we talked about good, better, best with frozen versus fresh, when you are buying frozen, you want to save some money. Frozen is a good option. I love Trader Joe's. I think they have great prices on their frozen fruit too. Their pineapple, this is the organic mango, that certain months of the year, so this month it's saying they're getting it from Peru, but there are certain months of the year when they're getting them from the Philippines. I'm telling you, they are the most delicious frozen mango that I've ever had. It was last year around sometime in like the spring, early summer time frame that it must have been in season for that specific region of the world for them to be getting them from, because they were so delicious. I have to say that. They have a great variety. I happen to buy my berries. I still have some berries left that I bought back in August from New Jersey, from a farm in New Jersey. So I'm still working off of like a huge, gigantic bulk box that I bought. And okay, like I said, the fermented products like kimchi and sauerkraut and things like that, they have good prices there. Huge discount compared to, I'd say, like at least 50% off compared to Whole Foods. Obviously the great prices on their herbs. I want to say each of these were like $1.99. Sometimes they're hard, sometimes even hard to find herbs in some stores. One of the other things I want to talk about, tempeh, organic tempeh. If you are plant-based or you try to eat plant-based for part of the time, again, this is cultured organic soy. So if you are going to have soy, you want to limit it and only have specifically cultured, fermented, organic soy products. So that's just what I wanted to say about soy, because you do want to stay away from soy. But if you are going to have any, just make sure it falls into that category. I also get, I think I mentioned that, the ghee. I get ghee at Trader Joe's as well. Coconut milk. I know if you get coconut milk, you can keep a couple of them away, put a couple of them in the refrigerator so they're ready to go if you ever want to make like coconut cream and things like that, where you want the cream to stay hard. If you bake, things like that. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. I want to get into talking about supplementation and things like that throughout the rest of this week. Tomorrow I am going to be live on my regular channel, but I will post it later up to this group about a way that I recover that I really think has made a huge impact on me. So I wanted to be sharing that on both feeds. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll be talking more about that tomorrow. So thanks guys. Hope you have an amazing night, and let me know if you have any questions. All right. I want to make sure that we, it's what, the second full week in January. So let's get with it and let's get caught up on everything, and we'll keep moving forward. All right, guys. Bye.